Oh my gosh, that was absolutely amazing.
This is one of the best games we've played yet.
The expectations were high already, but this one takes the fish.
It's too bad you couldn't play this time, human person Mizore.
What a shame. It's even your favorite game series.
Alright, without further ado, let's start the show. I'm Jiji.
And I am Luna. And welcome to Whiskers and Controllers!
For this episode, we are talking about the highly esteemed game, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, released on September 26, 2024, and developed by Gretzel and Nintendo.
It's a 3D top-down Zelda game combined with side-scrolling mechanics and very cleverly designed. We want to tell you why this game is probably one of the best Zelda games ever. It's also the first game where you get to play Princess Zelda as the protagonist.
Wait, the first time you play as Zelda? I thought you played Zelda in all of them.
No, Gigi. That's Link. This is Zelda.
Oh, but if that's Zelda, then what game is this Link, that you get to play Zelda in?
And find my father.
Great! I can't wait to bomb some Dodongos!
Turn that off, Gigi! We never speak of that Zelda game in this house. Embarrassing.
Ring,
Huh? What is it now?
I got it.
Unknown caller.
Let's answer it.
Jiji, Luna, hi!
Oh, it's Haku again.
What? I thought I blocked his number.
Well, you did, but that was through the phone. Desktop's just a little different. No, Luna, please don't hang up!
What do you want, Haku?
The Legend of Zelda, Echoes of Wisdom. Lots of, history behind it.
No. You had your chance last time, Haku.
But Jiji said
Luna, I have a little confession to make. I kind of promised Haku that he could appear from time to time to explain some of the history of the games.
You what?
I just thought it'd be nice to give our audience a little background before we clawed more into the game.
And you planned this without letting me know?
Well, I was gonna tell you, but between sleeping, eating, and torturing human person Mizore, I couldn't find the right time to tell you.
Huh. I do like torturing human person Mizori a lot. Fine. Okay.
yes!
But remember what we agreed to this time, Haku?
Yes, only 30 seconds. But it's just awfully short of a time span. How can I even...
29, 28...
Oh geez, not again. Okay, I'm Haku, and welcome to Haku's History Lessons.
Haku's History Lessons?
The Legend of Zelda was one of the key games that put home video games back on the map after the video game crash in the early 80s, and Nintendo started assuring the quality of their games with the golden seal of approval. Since then, there have been over 20 plus standalone original titles of The Legend of Zelda, and a number of remakes and spin-offs. Nintendo teamed up with developers of Grizzo, who they had previously worked with to produce remakes of past Zelda games such as Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Link's Awakening. With the same aesthetics as the remake of Link's Awakening, developers of Grizzo were asked for the first time to develop their own original Zelda game. And after a few years of development alongside Nintendo producer Eiji Aonuma and the first female director of Legend of Zelda game, Tomomi Sano, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was born.
Nice job, Haku.
Is that it, nerd boy?
Well, there is a lot more I could talk about. This is one of my favorite games.
Oh, really? Please go on then.
Really? Well, back in 1987, the second Legend of Zelda game was released called... and she hung up on me.
This is why I never share personal information with my fans on OnlyPaws.
Okay, let's talk about the story of The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom.
The game starts off with Link, the hero of time, defeating Ganon after kidnapping Princess Zelda and locking her away within a crystal. But as Link goes to free the princess, he is suddenly pulled into a mysterious void, unable to escape.
In his last-ditch effort, Link manages to shoot off an arrow, hitting the crystal in which Zelda is trapped in, giving her the ability to free herself. But the hero is nowhere to be found, swallowed up by the void.
Princess Zelda manages to make her way back home to Hyrule and reunite with her father, King Hyrule. But as the reunion occurs, the mysterious voids we now learn to be called rifts opened up in the middle of the throne room, and King Hyrule and his subordinates are pulled into it.
Princess Zelda nearly escapes, but when she finally gets back up on her feet, she is relieved to see that her father has somehow managed to escape from the rifts as well. But something isn't quite right. Right, Luna?
Indeed, King Hyrule and the subordinates began to act weirdly, with a newfound malice in their presence. King Hyrule suddenly orders the capture and execution of Princess Zelda.
Whoa, the king is going to kill his own daughter.
Indeed, he is, Jiji. But luckily, Zelda meets Tri, an ethereal creature that helps Zelda by giving her the power of the Tri-Rod, which allows Zelda to use its power to escape. But still on the run, Princess Zelda is forced into hiding, and it is up to Zelda and Tri to figure out how to close the rifts all around and save the people of Hyrule from the evil unleashed upon the land.
Wow, will Princess Zelda be able to save Hyrule all on her own? It seems a lot to take in for just one person.
You're right, Jiji. It is a lot. But even the hero of time was never alone in their adventures. Princess Zelda, along with Tri, encounters many new friends who help her on the way. With the Tri-Rod, she is able to summon echoes, which are imitations of defeated enemies and items collected throughout the game. She can use echoes of items such as pots, rocks, beds, and many more to help her navigate obstacles around Hyrule, and use echoes to summon past enemies, which are now her allies, to help her battle foes and solve puzzles. Over time, you have the ability to power up the Tri-Rod, giving you the access to summon more items, monsters, and use special powers as you find, Tri's friends, and close rifts throughout Hyrule.
The Tri-Rod sounds very powerful. Maybe we should try to get one to summon more trees.
Oh, we don't have to, Jiji. That's what human person Mizore is for.
Wow, quite pathetic.
Indeed.
Princess Zelda has more than just the power of the Tri-Rod though. She carries the hero's hood, giving her the strength of Link and using his swordsmanship and abilities when times get rough.
Wow, Zelda is so powerful. And she can use the abilities of Link?
That's right, Luna, but only for a limited time. Zelda has to collect mighty crystals throughout her adventure and have Blueberry the professor restore the powers of the sword, arrows, and power gauge, which will allow for more powerful attacks, abilities, and a longer time span before the power of the hero depletes. Ew, what monstrosity is this? Look, Luna.
Oh my god, Jiji. That's supposed to be a wanted poster of Zelda.
Wow, they really did a number on her. Oh, wait a minute. It looks kind of like...
Jiji! No! I told you we don't talk about that game here.
The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Time design takes place in a 3D world with a top-down perspective, just like the remake of Link's Awakening, but the game is 8 times bigger than Link's Awakening, so there are many more mountains to climb, seas to cross, and fields to triumph.
At times, you will also be able to go into a 3D side-scrolling view as well, which gives the game a different perspective and changes the way you use your Tri-Rod's echo summoning abilities.
The world is brightly colored and very cute, resembling a diorama of a world. And I can't get over the cute character designs of Zelda and others throughout the game. The still world and dungeons are well designed and fun to maneuver as well, providing obstacles that the player will have to overcome using any method that they can come up with.
The controls are extremely intuitive as well. From the very start, you can get a feel for playing as Link, and the Echo Link abilities giving you the ability to slash, jump, and utilize items easily. But when playing as Zelda, the playstyle is totally different. She cannot use a sword or shield, but has to rely on her echoes and yeeting abilities to take out enemies in fights, which can sometimes be challenging.
Wait, Luna!
Dang it, I missed.
Ooh, let me try next time.
Don't throw stuff at me!
Shut your mouth, you sorry excuse of a servant.
Well, excuse me, princess.
That's it. Hit him with the chair, Jiji.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
You probably heard of it already, but we want to share it with you again. The Pawswitch Pro is still available for your kitty destroyer of worlds.
The Pawswitch Pro is a cat house slash cat scratcher your kitty will enjoy sleeping in and tearing apart.
My claws are absolutely gorgeous and in tip-top shape to use on human person Missouri's face.
The Pawswitch Pro is available on our online kitty store for $39.99. So take a look at the link in the description and get your cat house today. Echoes of Wisdom is an absolutely amazing and fun game. There are just so many different possibilities of what you can do to maneuver across Hyrule and fight enemies. You can be a bit mischievous as well throughout the journey, throwing enemies off ledges, trapping them in the air, but your echoes take the final blow, and much more.
The music goes so well with the game, and I love all the various throwbacks to past Zelda games as well. There are so many characters brought back and elements that older Zelda fans would be ecstatic about. You even get the chance to learn why Link is mute, but you'll have to find it first.
Oh, there are so many different echoes that you can summon. My favorite are the echoes that make fields catch on fire, so everything burns, especially the enemies like the Gyvdos.
What?
Jiji, why are you staring at human person Missouri like that?
Oh, no reason.
Mama?
Teehee. Anyways, I think we're ready to give an official score for this game.
Okay, let's see what we have here. What? No way! Jiji, 5 paws in each category. That's never happened.
Not only that, but when a category gets 5 paws in a single category, that category gets a gold star.
But this game has 5 paws in all the categories. That must mean...
Yes, this is a perfect game. 25 out of 25 paws.
And also 5 stars.
It's a first for us, but the game was absolutely amazing. I can't wait to go back and play more.
Indeed. I can't wait to play more too. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom has so much great content, wonderful boss fights, and so many things going for it.
Any Legend of Zelda fan will thoroughly enjoy it, and new players who come into the series will love Princess Zelda even more. She is truly the most amazing and powerful Hylian in the series.
I can't wait to see future games with her as the protagonist.
And with that said, we have come to the end of our adventure.
We hope you enjoyed the show. Remember to hit the subscribe button to get notified of the newest episodes.
Tune in next time to
Whiskers and Controllers!
Alright, time to finish this.
What are you going to do, Jiji?
Shh, just watch.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh
He deserved it!
Look at him burn! How pretty!
Give me an E! A-H-A-T! What's that spell? Peanut!
Oh my god.